Itnarden, Idol Fears.
There is a bedroom closet at the center of this case. On an unremarkable eye-level shelf, an unsecured, fully assembled rifle sits in plain sight. 9 months after being placed on that shelf, a 14-year-old boy carried that exact rifle into Apalachee High School and killed 4 people. The aftermath of that morning resulted in 2 back-to-back sentences. The teenage shooter received life in prison, but in a highly unusual outcome, his father, Colin Gray, received a 15-year prison sentence. Colin Gray was not in the school building that day. He never pulled a trigger, yet he stood in a courtroom charged with murder for the decisions he made in the months leading up to the shooting. Georgia had no legal playbook for this. The state had never tried to hold a parent criminally responsible for a child's mass shooting at this level. To secure a conviction, prosecutors had to build an entirely new framework. They had to prove exactly how a father's passive oversight at home legally crossed the line into active homicide. The Gray household had been under extreme strain for quite a while. Colin was raising 2 boys on his own, and caseworkers from the Division of Family and Children's Services were already involved with the family. The documentation of the home life began early. The boy's mother urged Colin to get their older son into inpatient psychiatric care, and by the time the teenager turned 14, he had missed his entire 8th grade year of school. The record of the boy's behavior grew more severe in 2023. The FBI arrived at the family's front door to investigate anonymous online threats about a school shooting, threats that investigators linked directly to his son's account. During that interview, Colin Gray gave a definitive statement to federal agents. He told them he did not keep any accessible hunting rifles in the house. Months after making that statement to the FBI, Colin bought his son an AR-15-style rifle as a gift. He left it entirely unsecured in a closet he shared with his younger son. These documented alarms and false statements provided the legal basis for a charge of deliberate criminal negligence. The trial unfolded over 11 days at the Barrow County Courthouse. The prosecution built a massive case, calling 65 different witnesses to the stand to testify about the family's history. The defense strategy was remarkably simple, relying on a single witness, Colin Gray himself. On the stand, he argued that because he never truly believed his son was dangerous, he lacked the criminal intent required for a murder charge. Prosecutors bypassed his mindset entirely. They told the jury that when a parent ignores a mountain of recorded evidence showing a child is at risk of harming others, intent is no longer required to secure conviction. The state leaned heavily on the photograph of that unlocked closet shelf. They forced the jury to stare at the physical evidence of a father failing to secure a deadly weapon from a teenager in crisis. After less than 2 hours of deliberation, the jury returned guilty verdicts on 27 counts, including second-degree murder. The verdict confirmed that extreme inaction can legally substitute for active intent. The sentencing hearing moved the focus from abstract legal theory back to the immediate human cost. 11 different families stood up in court to deliver victim impact statements. Relatives of Richard Aspinwall and Christian Angulo delivered raw, unsparing testimony. They called Colin a complete failure as a father and stated clearly that his personal choices directly caused their permanent grief. Judge Nicholas Prim handed down a 15-year concurrent prison sentence. At 55 years old, Colin Gray will remain incarcerated into his late 60s before any possibility of release. The legal threshold drops from requiring actual, definite knowledge of a planned crime down to a broader standard based entirely on what a parent should have known. That specific shift is exactly what district attorneys nationwide are studying. District attorneys are now citing this outcome as they weigh similar charges against parents who leave firearms accessible to disturbed children. The sentencing of Colin Gray establishes a new national standard for where a parent's legal responsibility begins.